This is Andrew Klavan on The Culture. What up, all you young dudes and dudettes? Today we're going to have a little civics lesson to make up for what you've been learning in school. This is your Constitution. This is your Constitution in Washington, D.C. Now, some of you youngsters may be wondering, Klavan on The Culture, what is this thing called the Constitution? And by the way, what's that cylindrical roll of white tissue? Well, let me answer your first question while standing very far away from you. The Constitution is a document written on crinkly brown paper by assorted men wearing wigs. These crinkly brown wig men were the descendants of other assorted crinkly people who were so desperate to escape from Europe, they crossed the ocean in rickety, unsafe vessels, lacking even the barest creature comforts, although the smarter ones avoided commercial airlines and just came over on ships. The new American Crinklies were tired of living under European systems of government that allowed a small group of elites to lord it over ordinary people, instituting poorly conceived programs paid for by taxing the productive while they themselves sat around drinking their venti half-calf cinnamon mocha frappuccinos and passing off their opinions as facts in the New York Times of Europe. The question was, people love power, and once they get their hands on it, they won't willingly let it go, but will instead connive for more. Actually, that's not a question. In fact, there is no question about it. So, the Americans conceived a clever plan. Disguising themselves as white-haired old women, they dipped feathers in ink because if they were caught with pens, they'd be hanged by the British. Using these ink feathers, they wrote down laws intended to limit the powers of the government so the people's representatives wouldn't turn into corrupt, abusive, self-important busybodies, burdening the nation with intrusive legislation no one understands while spending money they don't even have. In Europe. The crinkly brown founders called these government-limiting laws the Constitution because they are what constitute America. You don't have to be a descendant of the original Whigmen to be an American. Even if you're elected president of the whole shebang, all you really have to do is preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution with its underlying philosophy of individual liberty, equal treatment, and limited government power. So, young people, since the Constitution is so important to our way of life, let's try to get a clearer understanding of how it works in specific cases. For instance, let's listen in as a CNSNews.com reporter asks Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi what constitutional provision grants Congress authority to force people to buy health insurance.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Well, let's ask Congressman Phil Hare from Illinois.
I don't worry about the Constitution on this, to be honest.
Pete Stark, he's been a California congressman for more than 35 years. Pete, you don't pretend the Constitution lets the federal government do anything, do you?
The federal government, yes, can do most anything in this country.
So, there you have your answer, which is that many of the people we trust with our government turn out to be just the sort of power-hungry lowlifes from whom the founding wig wearers were trying to protect us. Now, perhaps some of you young folks are thinking in your hep groovy lingo, what's the big whoop? Chill, dude. Don't harsh my buzz. Unfortunately, I don't understand what you're saying and can't respond. But I can tell you that the freedom you enjoy today is the exception in history, not the rule. Grow complacent in its strength, ignorant of its foundation, or careless of the rules of its sustainment, and it will be lost to what James Madison called the gradual and silent encroachments of those in power. Dude. This is Andrew Klavan on The Culture.